you can hear me. Let me know in the chat. Gonna try this again. Sorry about that. Let's see. Tonight we are going to talk about Sarah Grace Patrick. There hasn't really been much evidence come out about Miss Sarah Grace, and I am highly suspicious of it. If you don't know me, I'm Emily. I just started this channel, and I'm going to talk about true crime. So that's what we're going to do. And we are going to watch about Sarah Grace Patrick. A little background on the story. I'm going to try to find sorry, something short. This is what I was watching earlier, and it says, can anybody hear me or no? Probably not, I guess. Let's see. And then later we might have a special guest call in and give us some speculation on the background of this situation. Okay, I'm gonna turn my volume up. How's this? For the volume. How's this? Okay, so we are going to watch this.
They all came back. That came about.
The victims' names are James and Kristen Brock. In the wake of their deaths, Sarah Grace Patrick posted videos paying tribute to them on social media. She even reached out to TikTok creators, encouraging them to cover the case when it was unsolved. But then she was arrested, and law enforcement say they have a, quote, mountain of evidence against her. We did notice overnight that Patrick is now facing 8 charges in total, and that includes malice murder. That alleges that this shooting that she allegedly committed was premeditated. She's also facing 2 counts of felony murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. And on top of that, she's also facing 2 new counts of possession of a firearm or knife during commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. Yesterday, a judge denied bond for Sarah Grace Patrick. State witnesses cited concerns about her potentially fleeing if she were to be let free on bond. Also, there were concerns that she could influence witnesses, specifically her 5-year-old half-sister, who allegedly found the Brocks shot dead in their bedroom. At the end of the hearing, the state said that Patrick's case would be presented to a grand jury, and hours later, she was indicted. Now, we still don't know a lot about the evidence that law enforcement has against Sarah Grace Patrick, but her grandfather did share some new information with us today. Her grandfather's name is Dennis Nolan. He lost his daughter, Kristen, in the shooting. It is important to remember that. Dennis was also the father-in-law of James Brock. This was a blended family that has certainly been divided since Sarah Grace Patrick's arrest. Dennis was in court for the bond hearing yesterday, and I spoke to him earlier today. What is your reaction to the new charges that Sarah Grace Patrick's now facing? I know she's facing those 2 counts of malice murder.
I haven't talked to the attorney about that because that came up. You know, the grand jury met after we left, and came up with those charges.
Here, I'll slow it down.
I think they're just a formality. It doesn't reflect anything else other than that. You know, it's like they're saying, you know, commission of a crime with a gun, the aggravated assault is that we questioned the DA about that after the hearing, and they said it's just a matter of law, because if you hold a gun to someone, that's an assault. You know, you pull the trigger and it's murder. So you have 2 charges right there. And it's just, like I said, it's just more of a formality than anything else, and they're trying to come up with as many charges as possible. It's just a question, and I'm going to tell you this, if this thing goes to trial, it's going to be interesting, because some things surfaced yesterday after the hearing. People are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, that have information that I'm turning over to the sheriff's department.
The thing I'm concerned about with the sheriff's department is we've seen a different Carroll County receive a bunch of evidence that they didn't do anything with. And if it was exculpatory of the person they were trying to convict or trying to pin it on, that evidence, disappeared. So that's a little troubling to me. But we'll see.
Because, as you know, the prosecutors don't do any investigation. You have to leave that up to the sheriff's department.
To me, it seems like the worst evidence they have on this girl is the fact that she said, "I'm sorry" a lot.
So, there were a lot of information acquired yesterday about James' background and some of the things going on in that house that I wasn't aware of just prior to the murder. And it didn't have a whole lot to do with Sarah Grace. Matter of fact, it had nothing to do with her.
In our interview, Dennis said that James and Kristen were recently involved in illegal drug activity up until the time of their deaths. The family of James Brock denies that. We did look into the criminal history of James and Kristen Brock.
People, now, they claim they
This is the part you need to listen to.
have investigated all the possible suspects. And, prior to yesterday's hearing, they were saying that there was probably going to be additional arrests made. But after the hearing, they said they pretty much concluded all their investigation.
Now, Dennis and Sarah Grace's biological father, DJ, who is also standing by the teenager, have said they believe law enforcement did not do enough to see if someone else.
Yeah, well, Matt, they found the gunshot residue on a glove in the closet, and we don't know if that's confirmatory tested or if it's just initial testing. A lot of the field testing that they do is just preliminary testing. There's lots of things that could cause false positives, and we don't know if it was a rubber glove. Maybe Salt gave it a false positive, and it was a winter glove, and she was out shoveling snow. We just have to wait till we see all the evidence.
Was involved in the murders of James and Kristen, and whether their past had something to do with their murders. Now, we want to be forward and clear and tell you what we know about the past of James and Kristen Brock. And it's difficult because they're not here to talk about their pasts. But we did pull their records, and this is what those records show. We saw for James, there was a 2017 arrest related to drug possession, and he was given probation for that. He was also found guilty related to a 2018 arrest for possession of methamphetamine and marijuana, theft by receiving, and obstruction of a police officer. Kristen's record shows an arrest on the same day, April 29th, 2018, as James for meth possession and theft by receiving, which she was not prosecuted for. She was sentenced to drug programs for marijuana possession and possession of a drug object that was related to the 2018 arrest. We did find in 2022, James filed a temporary protective order against Kristen, accusing her of domestic abuse. That was then withdrawn later that year. We found in 2020.
Speaking of that abuse claim, I found this. This is all speculation. But, one sec. I'm gonna turn up my mic volume. Maybe that will help. You hear me a little bit better. But I found this. It says, Kristen Brock posted 2022. Yeah, this hurts me, but it's gonna hurt her more. Jaylee, which I really don't know any of the backstory on this. I'm hoping maybe our guest later will help me understand more. But yeah, this hurts me, but it's gonna hurt her more. Jaylee. Please pray for us and our safety. Please let me know if you see James Brock, so you can warn me. He's trying to kill me. He has been to get the house and child. Man, wasted tears, now huge fears. Let's turn it down. Sorry. How is that? And then, I don't know. I really don't know these people, but I found this screenshot, and it says, Donnie, I'm coming to get you, love. I know you are so unhappy there. I hear you, and I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. I promise you that, son. Your father can't beat you anymore. And then Sarah Grace Patrick says, Kristen, you are a grown woman, and this is the child that you put through the dirt just to make yourself happy. Commenting on my post and posting this is never going to make me want to go to your house again and show how immature you are. Respectfully grow up. The only one that beat us was the ex-stepdad you got with and had no time to realize because you were out dealing. Daddy has never laid a hand on me, and you need to stop brainwashing Donnie, and it doesn't work anymore with me. And then whoever, Kristen Ashley, I'm guessing that, I don't know, I don't want to speculate. Maybe you need to call me because we need some therapy. For real, sad. This is the only way you talk to your mom, so that must be her mom. Anyway, back to this.
22, Kristen Brock was arrested. She was charged with first-degree criminal damage to property plus felony and misdemeanor cruelty to children charges. That case, according to online court records, was still active at the time of her death. Yesterday, during the bond hearing, James's sister, Kimberly Bowling, gave very emotional testimony, and she said that the Brocks had turned their lives around. They were born-again Christians, and we haven't found any criminal charges for the two of them since 2022. It's unclear who else detectives investigated related to the Brocks murders.
2022 wasn't that long ago. Especially when you're old.
For the 4 months that this case was unsolved. I asked Dennis about why he thinks his granddaughter is innocent and what evidence prosecutors may have against Sarah Grace Patrick in this case. In this next part of our interview with Sarah Grace Patrick's grandfather, he walked us through some information about key pieces of evidence he's learned throughout this investigation. Police have not confirmed the digital and physical evidence he's about to tell us, and we have not confirmed it through police reports. But what he claims Sarah Grace Patrick allegedly Googled before the murders, we had not heard before. Because I know you went and spoke to the prosecutor after the bond hearing yesterday. Would
Yes.
you say after that, I mean, you're not expecting any more arrests from what they told you in the case?
No. No, they're not releasing any of the evidence that they have in the case. And they said, they were saying, well, we'll come out in the trial. But of course, we have discovery, we filed for discovery. And, they have technically between 30 and 90 days to turn that discovery over to the attorney, which means all the evidence that they have for the trial. They got to give her time to work through that evidence. They're holding tight on that, and that really bothers me because, they were trying very hard to get Sarah to, admit guilt, and they threw a whole bunch of evidence.
Does that sound familiar to anybody?
In her face, just prior to the warrant, and we know what that was because DJ was present for that interrogation, and it wasn't anything, there was nothing there of substance. It was all, it was photographs of the scene, and they claim they have found gun residue on something that they found of Sarah's, and, but it wasn't.
Hi, Shayla.
Conclusive.
Welcome.
I mean, let's face it, it took them 4 months to arrest her.
Text me before you come visit. I meant to text you.
The time lag. If they had anything of substance that came about from the initial investigation, they would have arrested her immediately. They waited because they were under pressure to do something, to come up with a suspect.
What piece of evidence, I mean, you talk about the gun residue, and I know they had, they said, I remember, kind of the line that everybody keeps coming back to from that news conference was they had a, quote, mountain of evidence against Sarah Grace Patrick. And they have kept a lot tight to the vest, it seems, to anybody that they've spoken to. Is there any, from what you've seen, I mean, what makes up that what they think they have? What makes up them?
The gunshot residue is it's going to need to be tested, and we're going to need to see about that. But yes, that is physical evidence if it turns out to be hers, and if they find her DNA on the glove.
Mountain of evidence.
Well, of course, I haven't seen it, so I don't know for sure. But what I've summarized from what people have told me is that their digital evidence was searches.
This was in Carroll County, Georgia. This, it's kind of by Atlanta, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's over here. And then all the Delphi stuff that I've been obsessed with, the Richard Allen stuff, that is Carroll County, Indiana. So that's why I'm seeing so many parallels. And it's really concerning to me. And especially as a former troubled teen, it really concerns me that this girl might be getting framed just because she was, a fucked up teen getting raised by fucked up adults, allegedly.
That Sarah had done on her phone having to do with murdering your parents. Okay, they claim that she did some internet searches for how to commit murder or something of that nature. But she didn't realize it was gunfire that woke her up, and I think you can understand that. And she was a little bit dazed.
And also, I don't think the gunfire. Oh, this is turned way down. I bet that's why it's so low. But the gunfire, if it didn't wake up the 3-year-old or the 5-year-old or whatever, then why is everybody so suspicious of it not waking her up? I don't understand that. And
I guess she felt like she needed to call her boyfriend and see if he was awake at that hour, which I don't find that unusual. So they're holding that against her.
And also the two remaining alive victims that were in the Idaho 4 case, it wasn't gunfire, but neither one of them called the cops right away, and they saw that guy in their house. Hey, Amy. Richard Allen is not guilty. He is not the bridge guy.
But they did gun residue tests against.
Amy, if you're just joining us, just to catch you up, we are talking about a case in. Oh, hi, Chelsea. We're talking about a case in Carroll County, Georgia, and there's just a lot of weird parallels in the Richard Allen case, in my opinion. They have this mountain of evidence, supposedly, and really it doesn't come down to much at all, and I don't know the science behind the gunshot residue, and I don't know if that's confirmed, but I'm just really suspect, and hopefully I have a special guest joining us later that will kind of give us some tea and some background on what is happening down there.
So on her immediately.
And this is her grandpa.
The next day, or the morning after the shooting, and they all came back negative. And I know they did her clothing, and it came back negative.
Yeah, I know. So I would never live in Carroll County.
Again, this 4-month lag.
No matter where it's at.
Of having her arrested and saying they have a mountain of evidence that's digital. It has to do with her internet searches.
Yeah, and if she's got bad internet searches, we'll see.
But they found like some kind of gun residue on like.
If it's anything like Richard Allen, it'll be like, yeah, I know. I feel bad for the grandpa too. And apparently, there's only like a couple people, that's really divided the family. But in the Richard Allen cases, they said he had damning search history, and it was like he was searching for a movie, and that was it. It wasn't anything damning at all. It wasn't any kind of like creepy, child stuff or anything. It was just like he was searching for a certain movie.
Something she owns.
Yeah, they said they found a glove, some kind of glove that had a little bit of gun residue on it, hidden in her closet. I don't know much about that, what type of glove or anything else. I mean, that's about it. Again, that was something that was found early on, because like I said, they tore the house up, and they found that in their search of the house. And you would think that if that was enough of incriminating evidence, they would have arrested her at that time.
Who searched how to hide 2 dead bodies?
Says a whole lot to what they have, or what they don't have. But I don't think they have anything that puts the gun in her hand. I don't know if I shared this with you, but they made the statement even in the initial press conference about no no sign of forced entry. I know when I went to, when they released the house to me, and I was trying to secure the house, and let me back up a little bit. Sarah did tell the investigators that when she went into the room initially, she said the room was ice cold, and this was, of course, in February. It was cold, and she.
After this, we have something real egregious to watch, so just prepare yourself.
Because the back door was open.
It has to do with Lauren from Hidden True Crime.
It was a back door that they had attached to their bedroom. Right off their bedroom was a little porch, and this
If the
door
glove doesn't fit, you must have quit.
That porch, and Sarah told them that door. She found that door open, and they said there was no sign of forced entry. When I went to secure the house, the lock on that door was broken, and I didn't really think a whole lot of it at the time. And DJ took a picture of that back door and that lock the day that we had access to the house, and I have it right here. And I don't know if you can see this or not.
For those of you enjoying this podcast audio only, there is he's holding up a picture of the door, and it looks like it's been kicked in or rammed with something.
But directly right here, right there, you see this mark right here? That's a crowbar mark that, there's clearly signs of forced entry. Now, the other thing that surprises me, when I look at this photograph, the police, of course, they should have dusted everything for prints. And I know from past experience, if
they go through all the evidence.
A little bit of a mess. They use
Good times.
dust.
It infuriated me.
There was none of this on this door.
We're gonna get infuriated together.
They didn't even dust this door for prints, which I think is the most obvious sign of forced entry I have ever seen.
I should do
you
that.
can see that.
Yeah.
That mark
Yeah, I see that. That mark there on the door.
This lock right here was broken. Like someone took it and gave it maybe a
That's suspicious.
wrench and twisted it, and because the insides were all twisted up inside. I had to replace that lock. That's a replacement lock that I put on there to secure the house. And like I said, I hadn't thought twice, but DJ saw this and took this picture of that door. So, I don't know the investigators how good a job they did.
We don't know a potential motive in this case. I did ask Dennis about something that prosecutors brought up multiple times at the bond hearing. There were questions about whether Sarah Grace Patrick went to an alternative high school. I know during the hearing...
Guess what? I also went to an alternative high school for 2 years. Okay, we have our special guest calling. Please give me feedback if this audio sounds good or not. Hello.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
I'm super blessed. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So, we were just, me and my 4 viewers were just sitting here watching a recap of what all has happened so far. So, what got you interested in this, and why do you feel compelled to talk about it?
So, for me, I'm going to say it was 2007. Somebody I know died from a gunshot to the head, and I know the person that was there with her was a very violent man with a very violent and abusive past.
The person that was there with Sarah Grace and...
It's ruled as suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The gunpowder and residue was all over him, but he stipulated he was reaching for the gun.
Oh.
I know differently.
Okay.
So that's where, true crime came in for me. And then somebody I know disappeared in 2017. Come to find out, more than likely it could have been Rex Heuermann, the Gilgo Beach guy. So, like, it just escalated. I'm just really into true crime. And then I saw this case of this 16-year-old girl, and I'm from the South. So I just started looking into it. And even from the beginning, I'm like, this is a 16-year-old girl. And you can look at all her pictures. She's not wearing the black heavy eyeliner, the black, goth clothes. She doesn't show any signs of anger or aggression or out of control behavior or, the depressive part. I just didn't see any of that in any of her pictures or her videos. And then I saw the family, the other side of Jamie's, and I saw how
sorry, I just wanted, before you said anything, we are live on YouTube with my 6 viewers, so I wanted to make that clear. That way you didn't say anything you didn't want to say. But yeah, we're just talking on speaker. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
So that's okay. I saw the aggressive manner they were going after this child, and I just couldn't, as a mom, I just couldn't understand, like, okay, so hold on, if this child did do this, why? Like, why is nobody wondering what was going on in that house? And that's what made me dig even deeper. And then, I saw that the parents were very much into methamphetamines and the distribution charges, the manufacturing charges, the possession charges, the cruelty to children charges. And I'm like, gosh almighty, wait a minute. Like, what's going on in that house and why aren't, it was just so astounding to me. I saw comments from one of the family members saying that Sarah was this little bitch. I watched her cry front and center at the funeral, and they were picking apart everything she said at the eulogy.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention to her eulogy, she said in the beginning of it, I'm sorry, I stutter a lot. And then at the end of the eulogy, she did stutter, and she said, I'm sorry. And there was another part inside of that eulogy, if you guys listen closely, she says about her mom, something about no matter what, of the past, or no matter what about our relationship. Do you guys understand that this girl was ignored so her parents could do drugs? Yeah. And this isn't marijuana.
Yeah.
This is methamphetamines.
Yeah.
And that's what the child meant when she was apologizing and saying, it doesn't matter, Mom. We know the love that we had. Because she knew her mom was arrested over and over again. And, Sarah swears that this was drug addicts or drug dealers that did this to her parents. And, and then the TikTokers, these influencers, so they call themselves, these content creators.
See, I haven't been on TikTok, and I haven't seen, like, anything. Well, I'm just like a YouTube girly, and I watch YouTube all day, so I haven't seen hardly anybody talk about her, and I'm just like, why aren't people talking about this? And
it's all on TikTok.
Well, maybe that's why.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, she went and found 2 supposedly big TikTok creators, okay? And they just have a lot of followers. They're people just like me and you. They're nobody famous.
Are we talking about Sarah Grace or the aunt or whatever that's talking against
Sarah
her?
Grace.
Okay.
Before Sarah Grace was arrested, she felt like because of who her parents were and because of their pasts, the police didn't care. And they weren't going to do anything about it. So that's why she went to the TikTok creators, because months had gone by. They weren't answering her phone calls. They weren't talking to her. She felt like they weren't doing anything. So she went to the TikTok creators, true crime ones, and begged them for help. Please get my mom's story out there. This could be big for you. Just like I said to you, when you said, I'm new to this, I said, this could be big for you. Please, we just want to know. You know what? At this point, I don't care who did this. I just want it proven Sarah didn't do this. It's just, it's baffling to me how these grown women.
Supposed to be her family, or I watched this one
Yes.
YouTube video, and her I guess it's her aunt was like talking about her like she's a little tramp, like she's just a little,
Right.
like good for nothing. And it makes me feel so bad because I was like a goth girl, like teenager. I hated everybody, and
Me too.
and everybody, nobody liked me. I went to an alternative school, all of that. My mom did meth, and I can just really see myself in her, so.
Oh, I got goosebumps. I'm gonna cry. I had that lifestyle. I had that. My mom was just junk. She was too busy for me. And I was you. I was the goth girl.
Yeah.
I was getting into fights all the time. I was getting kicked out of school. This child was not.
Yeah, she seemed like she was making the best. I saw that thing. She graduated early.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you're gonna hear, your viewers are gonna hear that she was in an alternative school. Okay. She had marijuana on her. Marijuana is highly illegal in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
I am in Arizona right now. You can smoke pot walking everywhere here. They don't care. It's legal. But there it is not. When she got caught with that marijuana, she got kicked out and put into an alternative school. Girl, she turned that shit around so fast, she graduated that school a year early. Top of her class. Right.
Yeah, that's the same thing I did. I thrived in an alternative school. I got kicked out for having Benadryl on me, and those small classes, I just thrived, and I did great. I didn't graduate early, but yeah, it's just I think her side of the story needs to be out there. I mean, what we know about it, and even if we're just speculating, it's the state has no problem throwing their side of the story out. So.
Right. And I don't know Carrollton County. I don't know the police there. I don't know if they're bad. I don't know if they're corrupt. I'm not here to talk against them. I'm not here to talk against the Brock side of the family. What I am here to tell you is I reached out. Look, yes, I am talking to Sarah, and I am talking to Sarah's side of the family, certain members, on a daily basis. And Sarah just wants her story out there. Sarah is a good kid that was being raised in a home with meth heads living in the backyard, in sheds, busted down sheds, drug deals all the time. This is what they lived in. This is what her brother, and that 5-year-old lived in. But now Jamie's side of the family wants to step in and say, sitting there with fake tears running down their faces, they fear for the 5-year-old's life. Her name is Jay Lee. Hello? Where were you the other 5 years when drugs were going on, when there was a meth lab in the house? Like, come on. No.
Yeah, Belly
It
May.
makes sense.
The background of the parents, they got in 2022 they were fighting against each other and had restraining orders against each other, and then they also have child endangerment
Yes.
charges,
Yes.
allegedly, and all this is allegedly. I haven't seen anything, and I'm no authority on anything, but yeah, lots and drug use, and apparently they were sober, but maybe sober against different things.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly sober, but maybe switched their drug of choice to
Pain pills.
pain pills. Yeah.
Pain pills and benzos.
Yeah.
And a week before the murders, somebody by the name of Rick allegedly came into the house with a gun and threatened the parents. Told the son to get out of the house.
Who's the son?
Wanted to talk to. She has a 12-year-old brother. Excuse me. Sarah does. And
Okay.
Jay Lee, 12-year-old brother. They told him to get out of the house, and that right there shows you when the guy, whoever came in and did the kids. A week before, when they came in with the gun, they told the kids to get out. Same again. It had nothing to do with the kids.
Yeah.
So if anybody that hears this has been to Georgia or Alabama or South or North Carolina, you got your country roads.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't nothing for miles out there. So it ain't how many times did you sneak out of your house when you were a kid?
A lot.
It is nothing to park your car or have your friends park your car down the road, turn their lights off. Anybody could have done this. Anybody. And just because no cameras across the street from her house didn't see anybody coming in or going out, that don't mean somebody didn't come in or go out.
Yeah, and also my cameras, sometimes the sensitivity will change, even if I don't mess with it, and it'll, I'll have to go back in there and change the sensitivity back up because it won't be, as sensitive as I want it to be. So just because, evidence of absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. So the fact that there are no videos doesn't mean that, it's not like, it's not evidence she didn't do it.
Right, and you're going to keep seeing, the more you get into this case, you're going to keep seeing no victim bashing, no victim shaming. Honey, that's not bashing or shaming, that's reality.
Yeah.
These people made, sold, and did meth. Okay? That's not victim blaming. That's reality. That's what Sarah grew up in. That's what Jay Lee grew up in. And that's what Donnie grew up in that house. They grew up in a drug house. So for you today to say you fear for Jay Lee's life, but you didn't the rest of the time? Okay, boo. I see you. And then you want to say how good of people, how good Jamie was. He was such a good girl. Please, come on now. Let's get real about this. That's what really makes... Go ahead.
Do we know any background on the church? I know the church has been, like, somebody in my chat said, what's up with the church propping up the parents a lot? But I thought if I wasn't mistaken, I thought the church spoke for her.
They did speak for Sarah. So listen, when Jamie and Kristen got sober, if you know anything about recovery, which I'm sure you do, it's God-based. Recovery is God-based. It's faith-based. And a lot of people don't feel like they're getting enough from the meetings, so they start going to church. And they started going to that church, and they built connections with that church, and Sarah loved it. Sarah was there every Sunday. She was really into it. Sarah introduced her father into that church, and now he's there every Sunday. And let me talk on her father, Daniel, DJ. That's a very nice man. He's a very, very gentle, quiet man, and I see a lot of verbal bashing on him because he doesn't say anything. People keep saying, well, if he cared so much, why isn't he doing this and doing that, advocating for who did this? Because they don't know who did this, because they don't do drugs.
And anything they say is going to get turned against them, so.
That's what he said. That's why he said he won't do anything, because he's getting, like, there's another creator right now. She's getting ready to go on Nancy Grace. And that's because she's the only one that would say yes.
Yeah, Nancy Grace is, no.
Yeah. Nancy Grace has asked Daniel to go on his show. Other people have asked him to go on their show. He says no. He doesn't want involved. The lawyers have told him to be quiet. He's doing what he thinks is best for his daughter.
Yeah.
Because no matter what he says, they're saying he's got DUIs, he doesn't work, he doesn't have a car. That man does not have DUIs. That man has a job, been at the same job for years, and he has a car, and he's a very good father. He doesn't do drugs. He's a good man. And something else, well, why didn't they say he didn't even know where they lived? Look, if anybody has shared custody with exes before, when there's a good amount of distance between the dad and the mom, you meet in the middle. And that's what he did. He would always meet them in the middle to drop off or pick up the kids.
Yeah.
So don't forget, they were on probation too. So if you're on probation, you're going to do whatever it takes to get the hell off that probation. So if you got to go to church and post videos on Facebook so your PO officer can see that,
Yeah.
do what you do.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat said, Belly May said, I thought the pastor who spoke on Sarah's behalf was very sincere. I did too. Apparently he got some backlash because later the church had to post on Facebook or post somewhere that he did not speak on behalf of the church, because they were getting some backlash about him giving character I don't know what you call it, like a character witness. Yeah, but yeah, so that's wild.
I'm trying to think of other things too. The gossip and the slander I see coming from everywhere. They're saying that she went into psych wards and she was mental, and that is not true. That is, how many teenagers today are depressed?
A lot, and a lot of them, I would say a good portion of teens do make a trip to the psych ward. I mean, like,
right.
When you're a teen, you have so many emotions and hormones and everything,
Imagine those emotions, imagine those hormones in a house where methamphetamines were going on, being smoked, being made, being sold, being bought. Imagine how she felt.
Yeah.
So I'm here to say, I don't think Sarah did this, but even if she did, that child deserves grace, and she deserves mercy, and it needs to be found out what was going on.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
On one hand, the other side of the family wants to say, she's psychotic, you don't know her, she did this, my brother this, my uncle that. I mean, come on. It's public record what the uncle was, what the brother was. It's an addict. And okay, he got sober, that's great. But that doesn't change the fact that he pissed a lot of people off during his little tirades. And Kristen too.
Yeah, I saw a few things that, I don't know, like a screenshot of her posting, warn me if you see James Brock, he's trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah grew up in that. But now, today, they're worried about Jaylee? Where were you then? Where were they then? They're so worried. They're putting on this facade that they love and care and support so much. Jamie, Kristen, and Jaylee, where have they been the past 5 years?
Yeah, and I think the interview that the aunt did with Hidden True Crime, it's just maddening because really she's just railing about that the sorry and Lauren from Hidden True Crime was like, "Hey Keith, what's up?" Lauren from Hidden True Crime was like, "What evidence did you see is the most damning for you?" And she's like, it was how many times she was saying sorry in the eulogy, and I'm like, but really though?
Cruelty to children, violence in the home, drugs in the home, strangers in and out of that home. Of course she says I'm sorry all the time. She's 100 pounds soaking wet, 16-year-old girl. They want to talk shit on that dress she wore. I cannot believe that they talk about the dress that she wore at a funeral. For the love of God, her parents did DoorDash for a living and lived off of Social Security. What else was that child supposed to wear? Did they buy her a dress? They're so worried about what she wore. Did they offer to buy her something? Nope, sure didn't. But they waited to tear her down for what she wore. And I gotta tell you, I'm so angry people, the whole victim shaming and blaming speech that they keep giving. If Jamie and Kristen didn't live that lifestyle, would I be talking to you right now? Probably not.
Yeah. And
So,
you know what's the harm in showing both sides of the coin?
mm-hmm. Why are they trying to hide that? Why are they trying to push down? Why are they trying so hard to blame Sarah? Even if they were 100% positive Sarah did this. Shut up. You know what that child went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really making it worse for themselves. And this Kelly girl, Kelly IE, oh my God.
Who is this? Who?
Her and Kim swear they're best friends. But I wonder how long they've really known each other, Kim and Kelly.
Who are all these people?
Kim is Jamie's sister.
Okay. Oh, that's the one. That's the one that was on Hidden True Crime.
Or it was Kristen. Kristen is the younger one.
I'm trying to find the video.
And Kim, I don't watch true crime or hidden true. I don't. That show.
Oh, this show is so bad. This one is bad, but
yeah.
But there's nothing out there on this case, so I was just trying to watch anything.
You know, to be honest, I don't think it would be anything if it wasn't for the people pushing for Sarah to be proven innocent, because it's two recovering addicts from Georgia. It's just not that, and that's what Sarah was trying to do. Sarah kept saying, I just want to get this case out there. I want anybody to tell me who did this to my parents. And something else, they keep saying, well, if Sarah really didn't do this, how could she be on TikTok making videos? Wouldn't she be afraid for her life? Number one, she was no longer in that house. She was safe in somebody else's house. So no, she did not fear for her safety because she was somewhere else. That's number one. Number two, a week before they were murdered, the person that came in with the gun told the son, Donnie, 12 years old, to get out. They knew they didn't want the kids. Them kids didn't do anything.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder about that.
I have a friend who has been in and out of prison her whole life. And the methamphetamines, she was on meth. But when she would get out and she would get into recovery because she was on parole or probation, the meat would start coming back on her bones. The picking would stop on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair would grow back thick and full. She was beautiful. She was happy. She was loving. But that was only for a short period of time. When people would finally look back away, she'd get right back into that stuff. It's addiction. It's never ending. And let me tell you something. She has twin boys. They're now in prison for meth manufacturing. They were 17 years old when they were arrested for manufacturing methamphetamines. It's just a vicious cycle. But look at Sarah. She graduated school a year early. Sarah was going somewhere with her life.
It seems like they were really trying to grasp at straws with her. And
yes,
and they said if you're gonna make so much noise, we'll show you.
Right. And again, woman to woman here, and when I say woman, I mean adult. If she did do this, can we get some mercy from her? Like, look at what she lived in. I mean, it just...
There had to have been a reason.
If she did it. And I just don't see this 100-pound, sweet, loving, not one person can say anything bad about her. One girl made a comment somewhere. I wish I could find it. She made a comment somewhere on TikTok and said, I wasn't friends with Sarah Grace, but I was sitting in class one day and I was crying and trying for nobody to see me. But Sarah Grace saw me, and she passed me a note and told me if I needed anybody to talk to. Come on now. Not one person can say anything bad about Sarah. Not schoolmates, not church people, not teachers. Nobody. Nobody can say anything negative about Sarah. No fights, no nothing. Even she worked at Subway. Even the people she worked with, worked for, and customers all have good things to say about Sarah.
The only people that really have anything bad to say about her is her own damn family.
They didn't even know her.
Yeah. It is Kristen. That's who, the aunt.
And you don't even have to hear her open her mouth. Just her presence says enough. So
Yeah.
It's just really, really, really sad. And the evidence. Let's get into this mountain of evidence that they say that they have, which they might. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not God.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychic.
Yep.
And I'm not law enforcement. But they say that she heard the gunshots. Let's start there. She
Yeah.
heard the gunshots.
Yeah.
She heard the LVAD machine. Okay, let's start with the LVAD machine. That thing went off all the time. So that was no big deal to either Sarah or Jay Lee. It was always going off. And it really is not that loud. If you guys look up LVAD machines and hear what they sound like, and I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And there's that. The gunshots. Okay. Let's say they did hear those gunshots. Their parents were drug dealers for years. They're not getting up. They're not getting up. They're used to their parents fighting. They're used to the loud sounds. The gunshot smells. Let's talk about that. Let's say Sarah did smell that.
I don't think a teenager or kid would know really what a gunshot would. I mean, I know my kid wouldn't. He's never been around a gun. He's a teenager. So unless you've been around a gun, I don't think you would know what a gunshot smells like.
Well, this is the South.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yep.
Okay, this is the South, so everybody hears gunshots.
Mm-hmm.
But factor in, my parents are drug dealers and drug addicts, or they were drug dealers and drug addicts. Let's go back. Let's go with this narrative that they were sober and holy rolling and religious for 2 years, from 2022 to the time it happened, February 20th, 2025. Sarah hears gunshots. Jay Lee hears gunshots at the tender age of 5 years old. They're used to it. They're used to the fighting. They're used to the screaming. Let's say they smell the gunfire. My mom and dad's doing drugs again. They're smoking drugs again. I can smell the smoke. And just go back to sleep. Do you want to get out of bed and see mommy and daddy smoking crack, meth, whatever it is they're doing again? Nope. You just go back to sleep. Or at 16 years old, you get pissed off and you call your boyfriend. And you sit on the phone with your boyfriend till you fall asleep. And you don't hang up the phone. Your boyfriend falls asleep on the phone too. So you're 16 years old. You're lonely. Your parents suck. They're fighting in the next room. They're doing drugs again. So Sarah might think. So she calls her boyfriend. And she sits there for hours on the phone, feeling safe and comfortable with her boyfriend. They keep saying the boyfriend has snitched and the boyfriend has lawyered up. They keep saying they took a gun from the boyfriend. That's not true. None of the boyfriends' or parents' guns matched the gun that was used at the scene.
Plus, if they were both on the phone, I mean, that means their cell phones are pinging all the towers.
Right.
Billy May says they use guns as air freshener for their trucks. She also had a question about who is her attorney. I don't know who they are, but it was two black ladies, and the way they spoke about, I didn't love the way they spoke about her.
Agreed.
Like I know I've been like obsessed with this case for the last year called about Delphi, where they convicted Richard Allen, and I don't think he's the guy.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and that's where a lot of my friends in the chat are from. We're kind of like online obsessed with this case, but
I
so
thought Richard Allen was innocent as well. I
yeah.
really did, and that's where I lost interest in hidden true crimes.
Yes, yeah, same, yeah. But I didn't have any information, so I was just watching. But his attorneys, like, I feel like they believed in him, you know, and with these attorneys, I don't feel like they believe in her at all. Like they were like, basically all they said was like, she's innocent until proven guilty, and we're gonna defend her, you know. But they did not give me any comfort at all. Yeah, free Rick
Agreed.
Allen. Yeah.
I agree, but you have to understand that DJ, Sarah's dad, is not rich, and he's got another child to support, and he's putting money on Sarah's books every single day so she can text, so she can eat. He tried to. Somebody else actually put a GoFundMe for him for Sarah, and he was ripped to shreds over
Oh,
that.
I bet.
So he was like, "Forget it. I'll do this on my own." He's such a gentle man. He's such a kind person. Kristen's dad, Dennis, can't really say too much on him. I don't know him personally, never spoke to him. But again, this is an older man that doesn't know much about modern technology, and I think a lot of stuff was kept from him. I don't think Kristen ran and told her dad, hey, I'm still doing this in the house that you paid for. Hey, I'm still doing this in the car that you paid for. Dennis paid for everything. He owned the home that they lived in. He owned the vehicle that they drove in. Kristen and Jamie did nothing, ever.
And
Ever.
Dennis is Kristen's mom? Or Kristen's dad?
Father.
Sorry, yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
And he is standing beside Sarah as well.
Is that like the chubby guy that was on Law and Crime?
Yes.
Okay. That's who we were watching before you called. Oh yeah, and Laura Owens. Yeah, that case. But we want her convicted.
That's so funny that we're on agreement with other cases. That's funny.
Yeah.
I saw your post. I was like, hey.
Yeah. I have never really been like super into like wrongful convictions or anything, but and the Delphi case I followed since the beginning, and I thought they had the right guy up until trial, and then I saw the trial play out, and it just broke my heart.
Same. And with Sarah, I think about her every day.
I've been thinking about it every day, and I don't know her from Adam. I don't know Rick Allen from Adam, but I think about it.
And when I get her sweet messages, and I sent her a very tough message the other day. I don't think it really hit Sarah yet at 16 years old what she'd been through. Kids growing up in households like that, it's normal to them. They don't realize that the lady down the street with those kids, they don't live like that. And that's like, they were ripping her one friend to shreds that got on stand and said, yeah, I wasn't allowed there. That girl didn't throw that in there to throw a wrench into the case. It's facts. She wasn't allowed at Sarah's house. The house was dirty. There was drugs in the house. There were drug addicts coming in and out. I mean, I cannot say that enough.
Almost nobody
was allowed there.
Almost nobody was allowed at my house whenever I was growing up.
Let me throw something else in there. People continue to say that Sarah did this over a boy. No, she didn't. No, she did not. First of all, Kristen and Jamie loved her boyfriend. Sarah's dad loved her boyfriend. I'm not going to say his name. He is not a minor. But he was going to church with them every Sunday. Good kid. Comes from a good family. He has been ruled out as an alibi. All the guns that his family have, none of them checked out that, yes, they took all his guns. But they were saying that Sarah did this because her parents wouldn't let her be with that guy that night. That's not true. Sarah didn't want him at her house. She was embarrassed of her house.
I feel that.
And again, if you people are so concerned about the 5-year-old who is now 6, if you were so concerned about her living with cockroaches everywhere, drugs in and out of the house, prescription pain meds being switched out, Xanaxes, you name it. Where were you? Where were you? Kim's acting all holier than now. Okay, where were you? Don't you hate that? People that come out after the fact?
Yep.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And then, you know, like looking back at the fact, acting like, you know, like they were like they were like great people, you know, which, I mean, just be honest, you know, you don't have to talk ill of the dead, but also, you know.
It is not victim shaming. It is not victim blaming. This is who they were. This is the life they lived. And now a child that had to live in that house with that shit, who had no choice, is being blamed for their murder. And, okay, something else they're saying, and if any of your listeners have any questions about, you know, things that they've seen, please ask me. But something else that the family, the other side of the Brocks, are saying is Sarah did this because she wanted to live with her dad. Her dad had full custody.
So she could have went and lived with him at any point.
Anytime she wanted, but she had a job. She worked. So she stayed there when she had to work, okay? And she had a boyfriend that lived over there, so.
And then I know I like to live with my mom a lot because she gave me so much freedom because I knew she'd be doing drugs all the time or doing whatever, you know. So I would,
Yes.
you know, I would bounce back and forth between, you know, like my mom and then my grandma's because, you know, depending on how I was feeling.
Right. DJ did give Sarah more structure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, the boy, Donnie, it was winter break. He was staying with his dad the night that everything happened. So, them saying that Sarah wanted to live with her dad, that's scratched out. Sarah could have went with her dad anytime she wanted. She had a job. She had to go to work. She was the only one in the house working. She was the only one in the house with a job. So, yeah, come on. Those people,
That's so sad.
They're clowns.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say allegedly. They are clowns, for sure. There's no allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, the stuff that they're coming up with and trying to throw out there.
And I don't know if there's corruption or anything either, but I've just seen cops grasp at straws for so long that it's just concerning, you know, what they'll do to solve a case.
Right, but you know what? I do have cops for friends, and they're
Yeah.
really good people.
Yeah,
but
and I do too. And I don't think it's all cops. I think it's,
Right.
and what sucks is it seems like the corruptness gets promoted a lot of times, you know. So it seems like
Karen Reed.
Yeah, it's.
Karen Reed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Rex Heuermann.
No,
Let's
geez.
talk about the chief of police in New York.
Yeah,
Come on
yeah.
now, that man got away with murder for
Yeah.
years. Why?
Yes.
Because the chief of police was behind it. So,
Yeah. And if it and you know, it was what got a light on that corruption is that kid that was a drug dealer that got his ass beat by James, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and
yeah, because he found the porn.
yeah, he found the weird porn and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, it's like you got to take a risk. You got to say something. You know, even if nobody will believe you, you know, and nobody will listen. Me and my 9 viewers, you know, like we have to make the record. And you know, this Laura Owens stuff is really what I don't know. It's a random case about this woman that faked a pregnancy, but that really got justice. a justice fire in my heart, and I just want to, like, do what's right in the world, and help people when I can, because you never know
You
when it
don't
could be
ever
you.
know. There's so much I want to say, and I'm going through my messages right now to make sure I get everything out that I want to say.
And I'll be here. We can go live again. This is my first live. I don't have any plans. I know I want to talk about Rick Allen, but I mean, this case is really why. I mean, I don't want to make a whole YouTube about this case, but I mean, there's nobody talking about it, so I want to talk about it. Like, we can keep talking about it. I'm down to keep talking about it.
Jensen. It was Carrie Jensen.
Yes, I've seen that name.
She's so sweet. She is such a sweet Southern woman. She really is. And they ripped her child to shreds for being 16 years old with a 2-year-old child. Okay, honey. Okay, you go ahead and you talk about somebody 16 years old having a baby. What were you doing at 16 years old? What were you doing at 12 years old, Hooch? Go ahead and talk about this child.
I got pregnant at 15, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So who is Carrie Jensen?
Okay, so Carrie Jensen is the one that was on stand, and her daughter is the one that got on stand and spoke on Sarah's behalf as well, and said that she was never allowed over at.
Oh, okay.
And they ripped her to shreds. What kind of character witness has a baby at 16 years old? What the heck? Come on now. What kind of woman has a mullet at 60 years old? Get me going on these people.
That was a good
They're
one.
going to know it's me just because I have such a smart-ass mouth. I'm always cracking jokes. I know they'll know it's me.
Fuck
But
'em.
I don't even care.
That's why
it is what it is.
I'm out here with my government name. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm trying to just, bring light to shit that needs light brought to it. So, I ain't the one that did it, so.
And there's all kinds of people offering DJ money to give documentaries or to give interviews, and he's like, absolutely not. And, I'm not going to sit here and shit talk men, but we all know that men really, they trip over their tongues. They don't know how to speak correctly. And on top of that, again, I cannot reiterate to you enough, this is such a gentle man. He's such a kind and soft-hearted person, and he's ashamed. He's ashamed that he allowed Sarah and his son, Donnie, to go there. He didn't realize how bad. He, like the rest of everybody else, believed that Jamie and Kristen were getting their lives back together and they were living correctly, and come to find out, they weren't. They just weren't. So, and I do want to say this. I had a business. I owned a business where I only hired women straight out of prison or recovery houses. And I had that business for years. And I loved all my employees. I loved them all. And they were all addicts, recovering addicts, until they got off paper. Then they were addicts again. But these are human beings. Mm-hmm. Kristen and Jamie were human beings. They did not deserve what happened to them at all. They did not. Jamie was shot in the face. Like that.
I don't see her doing that. Like if anything, why wouldn't she overdose them? I don't know. Women tend to poison people, but
right.
I just don't see a young girl using a gun to go, and then shooting somebody in the face. That's very personal, I feel like.
And why her own mother?
Yeah.
If she did brutally, savagely murder her mother like that, why? Why? What was going on in the home? And I do think that Sarah is where she needs to be for her own safety right now. And I do believe the judge thought so too. I don't want to get too deep into that, but the judge knows the family already. The judge knows Kristen and Jamie, knew their lifestyle. As a matter of fact, the police that were on the scene, they knew where they were. They knew what that house was.
I know it'd be interesting to get all the police calls out there.
Why the police think it's Sarah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you have to think these investigators, they're older, they're seasoned, they're not 16. They don't understand what kids are doing today. They're just as baffled by goofy ass teenagers as you and I are. I don't know why they think it's her, but I don't. And again, even if it was, this child deserves mercy, not people calling her a psycho bitch, especially
Her own family.
people affiliated.
Yeah.
Yes. Saying that she wasn't crying at that bond hearing. Watch the bond hearing from beginning to end. She was
sobbing. I'm seeing a picture of it right now. She's doing the ugly cry where it turns your face up and makes you look like you're laughing. She's doing the ugly, you know.
And something else. When the judge told her that by law he had to deny her bond, she shook her head yes, as in, yes, sir. Very well mannered.
Yeah.
Very well behaved. Come on. It's just, it's sad. It's so sad to me.
So what's next? What's next in this? Do we know?
I'm praying for a lawyer. I'm praying for a kick-ass lawyer.
Yeah.
That's what I wish would happen. Why Dennis, the father who supposedly has influence and money, why he's not getting her a better attorney, I don't know. And I'm not saying anything about the attorney that she has. From what I understand, she represented Young Thug as well, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know, but that must be
She's
good.
out of Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate to say anything bad about them, but it just, the way that they didn't sound like, it sounded like attorneys that didn't believe in their client is all, like they said what they had to say, and that was, but somebody in my chat said maybe we can get Ashley Merchant attention to check this case out. She's a great attorney in Georgia. She just started a true crime segment on Megyn Kelly. But
please,
yeah,
please, I'm begging. I'm not saying anything about the attorney. I'm just saying that Sarah Grace needs somebody's full attention.
Yeah.
Full attention.
Yes.
From what I witnessed myself, I felt like the criminal investigator, the other black lady that was sitting there, I felt her compassion for Sarah, for sure. When she reached over and started rubbing Sarah's back at the bond hearing, I could feel the compassion when Sarah broke down. So I do believe, she feels for Sarah. But like you said, she needs an attorney that actually believes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I want to reiterate to anybody that's going to listen to this, if you're going to replay this after it's recorded and yada, yada.
Yep.
This child is not a child that was on drugs. This child is not a child that had a past of violence, fighting in school, getting kicked out, being fired from job after job. No. This is a very nice, sweet, young lady. Okay? So let's figure out why this happened. If Sarah did it, why? If she did it, should she spend the rest of her life in prison? Absolutely not. We've got enough evidence right now to prove she should not go to prison for the rest of her life. Look at her parents.
Well, and if she did it, there's something deeper. Like there's something deeper.
I just don't think she did it.
Yeah, I don't either, and I want to see more evidence. You're gonna have to prove it to me.
And who helped her? Where
Yeah.
They drained the lake by the house. They destroyed the property, the backyard, the front yard, the house. They destroyed everything. Where's the gun? Who helped? If it wasn't the boyfriend who already has a rock solid alibi, none of his family's guns matched. Who then? Who helped her?
Another thing, on this hidden true crime, they were talking about how the family came in and were like getting mementos, you know, from the house, and all Sarah wanted was an unopened comforter, and that's evidence of her guilt, because she didn't want like a like the last shirt she wore or something. She wanted an unopened comforter, and I don't know what the deal is with that, but I mean that's not a fucking reason, you know, you think somebody's guilty, you know.
It was a comforter her mom bought for her.
Aw.
And yeah, and something else. Sarah already had what she needed.
And
From
they
her mom.
and they probably took all of her shit. She probably didn't have any money. They probably took her bedding and stuff, testing it for gunpowder and all that, you know.
Right. And she was not allowed back in the house for a while. And they kept her phone. They took her phone right away. So she didn't get her phone back for months. And as soon as she got her phone back, the next day she got a phone call. She had to turn herself in. So they're saying that the mountain of evidence is digital. So let's say it is digital evidence for us little true crime nuts. Okay, let's say it's digital. Do you think that she took her phone into the bedroom with her to do this crime? No. So you don't have digital evidence of her moving from the bedroom to her bedroom, okay? Or let's say she was cleaning up. Did she take her phone with her the whole time? No. Did she take her phone into the shower with her? No. And let's not forget, this is a 2,000 square foot house. So let's prove where these pings were going in a 2,000 square foot house.
See, when they said digital evidence, I was thinking like she was Googling, you know, how to commit murder or something.
So that's what the grandfather said. Those Google searches were after the murder.
She might have even been Googling the show. There's a show called How to Commit Murder, and that a lot of the kids are watching these days. It's a Shonda Rhimes show, I think. But anyway, yeah.
I just don't want the police pissed off, and you know they already see that this crime is getting tons and tons of, you know, social media.
But it's all guilt. It's all guilt.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing, you know, multiple people saying they are guilty. The family side is guilty. That's why they're saying it. I don't necessarily know if I believe that. I just, you know, meth addicts, I've seen them. They're skinny, they're strung out, and Jamie's side of the family, honey, they ain't skinny. So I don't think, I don't know why. Maybe they really do believe that Sarah did this, but why? Because Jamie supposedly one day said, you don't really know the real Sarah? What?
Well, and kids are, like, I remember I would go batshit crazy on my stepdad, you know, sometimes, or, you know, sometimes on my mom, and I could see my mom saying, you don't know how crazy she gets sometimes, you know, like, that doesn't mean anything to me, like, you don't know the real her, like, nobody knows the real anybody, you know?
And think about this. How dare you drug-addicted, non-working, grown-ass man going to say, you don't know the real 16-year-old living in my house?
Yeah. Why do you know the real her?
I mean, you got to think about the source that said you don't know the real Sarah, and you don't know what Sarah was going through in that shithole of a house. And to think that Nancy Grace, as mature and
Nancy Grace is, she's gonna.
I get it, but that's a very educated woman that's been doing this a very long time.
Yeah, but she's now an entertainer. She's not, you know, whatever she used to be. She is doing this for pure entertainment and views, and she likes to really rip into people. And even like all the people that go on her show, like they'll prep them and tell them, oh, she's gonna rip into you. Just be prepared. It's just all for the show, you know. And it's just wild, the shit she says.
I know. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
I just, these people are clowns. Clowns.
Yeah.
And if people want to look at their TikToks, the TikToks that they're making, there's Kimberly in GA, that's her handle, and then there's Kristen, Krysten, I believe, Douda, DOWA, and I wouldn't even pay attention to Kelly. I wouldn't give Kelly another view. I don't even know how she's affiliated with them. I would love to know how long she really knew Kim. Kim is Jamie's brother. Kristen Douda is his niece. I would love to know how long Kelly's been affiliated with that family. I think that Kelly is the one that wants the views and the attention.
And that's
her mullet.
I need to do some more research because I'm having a hard time keeping all these people straight. But
I'm pulling it up now. But more and more people are starting to see through it. I do know that. More and more people, you got grown-ass women out here.
This must be Kristen Douda right here because she's tagged in Hidden True Crimes tags down here.
Yes.
The blonde hair with the blue eyes.
Yeah, she tells everybody about her blue eyes being real.
Oh, Jesus.
Her blue eyes are real. They're not fake. It's not a filter. Bitch, you got 10 pounds of filter on there. Come on now. Don't get me started on these people. They're crazy. They really are. Mental as hell. They're just nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, but, let's do this again sometime.
Okay, if I don't get in trouble for doing it this time.
Yeah, if you get in trouble, I don't want to get you in trouble. I just want to talk about it and get to the bottom of all this.
I really do believe Sarah is innocent. But as a woman, as a mother, even if she's not, this child deserves mercy.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad what this child went through before this all happened. Her life was sad before this all happened. So, I really appreciate you giving her a voice, and I can't wait to tell her about this. And, like I said a few minutes ago when I gave her a hard message the other day, I don't think it really hit her what she's been through. That this wasn't fair, what she's been through. So,
yeah.
She's having to come to that realization that was my life. That is how I was raised.
Yeah. I still have moments of disbelief. Oh yeah, when is her next court hearing? When is
January. They're trying to do a speedy trial for the simple fact that she is a 16, now 17-year-old girl in isolation. She is in isolation 23 hours a day. She gets 1 hour out a day. How fair is that? She's not allowed to have any visitation. Tell me why. Why can't she see her father? Why can't she hug her father or her brother? Why?
Yeah. They did this.
What is seeing her father going to do? Even with, you can have a correction officer stand there the whole time. Why can't she see her dad?
Yeah.
That's just not right.
No, that's not right.
That's a privilege to have a visitation. She's done nothing wrong inside that jail to have that privilege revoked.
And she's not been found guilty.
No. It's just, what's happening is not right. And yes, I think it's somebody's married to a cop. Somebody is married to a cop. And I think it's Kim, the sister. I think she's married to a cop from a neighboring town. So, I don't know. This is the South we're talking about, so.
Yep.
The good old boy system.
Yep.
Remember, I told you what got me started was somebody I know was shot and killed, and it was ruled a suicide. Even even though the gunpowder was all over the man that was in the house with her. And when the cops got there, he was carrying her body out and putting it into his car.
Jesus.
And he told the police, yes, he told the police he felt like he could get her to the ER faster. Instead of calling 911 after the bullet was lodged into her brain, he called his mother. His mother came over and cleaned out all the drugs in his house, went back to her house, and she called 911, not him. Not enough evidence, ruled a suicide. Welcome to the South.
Man. That crazy shit in Kentucky is also crazy. With the judge and the sheriff.
We're human. I work in the mental health field, and a lot of people that are in my position are in it for the money. Not everybody is in it because they care about the clients or the patients. It's not just police officers. It's not just investigators. We're humans.
Yeah. And it does harden you.
It does.
And you do begin to think, once you do begin to think everybody is guilty after a while, And that's why we need objectivity in this world.
Sarah deserves grace and mercy.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Menendez brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some crazy shit right there.
Yep.
I thank you so much, Emily, for everything that you're doing, and I appreciate my anonymity, which is probably not going to be too anonymous anymore because I have a smart mouth, and it's not hard to disguise who I am, and I don't really give two fucks. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too, but
I do want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If this is, shame on all you content creators that are going against this 16-year-old child, especially the females, especially the grown-ass women that are this child this child that. You're a woman. What the hell is wrong with you to think it is okay, or that this child is so bad that she did not one content creator stopped for a second and thought, what's going on in that house? Mama Todd, her own son committed suicide, and social media turned against her and said that she was trying to tell everybody the story about her child taking his life for views. She's one of the people that Sarah reached out to because Sarah trusted her because she was a mother. And then this other content creator, this allegedly, reportedly, whoever she is, Sarah reached out to her only because she was a true crime content creator. And she specifically said to her, this will be a big hit for you. Meaning, nobody is paying attention to this case. Please, it'll be big for you. Help me.
Mm-hmm.
Help me find out who did this to my parents. But this goofball, she's running. She's running to Nancy Grace. She's all over TikTok with the screenshots of the messages that Sarah sent her. That's the biggest mistake Sarah made, was reaching out to these content creators on TikTok. She asked the wrong people for help, and it all went against her.
Yeah.
But here's something else. Her aunt, which is not by blood, that's Jamie's sister, Kim. Kim is the one that was telling her, get on social media, get on TikTok, ask for help, and then turns it all around on her for doing it. But she won't show those screenshots.
Yeah, it's like when the narrative works for them, they'll say whatever they need to say.
And I'm not here to say that Kim or Kristen or that goofy ass Kelly with the mullet knows what happened, or they're guilty. I'm not here to say that. I don't know if those people know that. But what I do know those people know, excluding Kelly, because I don't think Kelly knows shit. I think that Kelly and Kristen know. I know Kelly and Kristen know what was going on in that house. So for not stopping and saying, oh my gosh, what happened? No, straight to Sarah is a psychopath. She's a little bitch. This is a child. So that's my whole take on things.
Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you
And-
for helping.
Yeah, and I don't know how much. Like I said, I've got my 6 viewers here, but we care. So
Well, those 6 viewers are obviously obsessed with true crime, and they're not stupid.
yeah,
They've seen this
Nope.
before.
yes, they have. All 6 of them have. Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah.
6 viewers. I appreciate you.
All right, and then reach out if you want to talk about anything, if you think of anything that you want to, go into or anything, and then
And
we'll.
if you have any questions, please, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yep, we'll do. Have
Talk
a good
to
night.
you soon.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, so let's get ready to get pissed off in true crime real fast before I go to bed. Try not to blast your audio here. I gotta put these headphones back on. This is the part where they were talking about why do you think she did it? I'm probably gonna get copyright struck.
What do you think the motive is then? People are wondering, why do this?
Honestly, I have a theory I can't share, but, regardless of what it is, if it's what most people think it is, I'll say that. Anybody that's ever been a teenager, you've gotten mad at your parents before. You have not liked what they said.
And then you didn't shoot them.
Thought that they were the worst person ever. You were mad. Whatever. But what you didn't do was kill them.
One thing that's been talked about with Sarah is possible mental illness, because again, we see her on TikTok day in and day out crying over the loss of her mother and stepfather.
Is that mental illness, or is she just crying about the loss of her mother and stepfather?
And so for those of us watching this from afar, we're gonna wonder about mental illness or what is happening, what this is. It's so shocking to see these TikToks and then find out that she's arrested for this crime. But I have a question, because Dennis, someone that has done interviews saying that he believes his granddaughter is innocent, said she has no mental illness. Can you help us understand what is?
That's so weird. She cried when her parents died. Wow, that must be mental illness.
It's true, and what isn't? Is there mental illness that Sarah Grace was dealing with?
So this is a popular opinion on the internet. As far as I know, no, she doesn't. And her grandfather just went on the public record to say that no, she absolutely did not. So we have to tend to agree with that. He said that they were very close. He would know.
And why is she being such a smartass? Like, why?
Yeah, he did say that.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah.
Oh, he said that.
He did.
Oh, yeah,
So
he did.
okay, so no mental
Okay,
illness.
no mental
crying
illness.
On TikTok, giving a eulogy.
Crying
and
on
she's really
TikTok.
well spoken.
Oh, yeah.
What about, the
Fucking hate
boyfriends
this
or
lady.
ex-boyfriends? That there's been speculation online, a lot of it. So I have to ask about an ex-boyfriend and a possible older
Let's
man.
see.
I cannot speak on him. It is still
It's a yard sale. There's something you don't want to answer. Please just tell me while I ask belongings in the house. Can you help us understand what this yard sale was and what actually happened? Because there are a lot of.
do your best to come and find anything that you want. So, Jamie has 3 older sons. They all came to find something of their dad's. They all had something in mind, and they had to look forever. My mom went to look. She had something in mind that she was looking for, and Sarah was there to get what she wanted. And
To get what she wanted.
while everybody was looking, just for example, my mom was looking for the one thing she wanted was a hoodie of Jamie's that she had sent him that had ramen noodles on it. Just something so silly, but that's what she wanted. That's the
It's like she's already got these talking points.
sentimental thing that she wanted. And his oldest son, Tristan, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a can or something, like a monster can or something. It was just, what they were looking for was absolutely just, you wouldn't know unless you were them, And And
sentimental to them.
exactly. And they found it weird that what Sarah was looking for was an unopened comforter. My mom found
What? Not an unopened comforter. Couldn't be.
a really, like I said, it was really hard to find stuff. So my mom is digging. They're literally digging for trash. I mean, there's trash bags full of stuff that's their stuff in trash bags, because they wanted to figure this out. They went through everything.
And then also their house probably wasn't in the best shape because usually whenever you're strung out on drugs, that's what happens. Allegedly.
So my mom's, knee deep in trash, and she finds this shirt of Kristen's, and she
So heaven forbid the girl want an unopened fucking comforter that's clean that her mom bought her
tells Sarah that,
to sleep in that night.
look at this. This was your mom's. Like, this is so cute. And Sarah says that it's her mom's favorite shirt. And my mom said, oh my gosh, you need to take this. You need to make it into one of those teddy bears or one of those pillows, And she says, no, you can have it.
Wow, that's
Ooh.
tough.
That's telling. That means that might as well be a confession. She did not want the mom's favorite shirt. What the fuck?
But she wanted the unopened comforter.
Right.
But she wanted the unopened comforter.
Another story just like that. My mom's best friend went with her to the house. I wasn't there. My mom brought her best friend with her to help her, and there was a piece of artwork on the wall that I'm guessing Sarah made, but I'm not going to say that for sure. It was a kid's artwork, and so my mom's best friend told her you need to take this, and she was just like, oh, okay. I've been in that situation, so I'm not speculating. Like, my dad passed, and I brought home the weirdest stuff with me.
And that means that Sarah Grace has to do that same exact thing or she's guilty of murder.
From his house, just stuff that he had wrote on, and so the unopened comforter doesn't totally sit right with me, but
Yeah. Does yeah, that's interesting. Was Sarah protective of Jaylee, like after the murders and before her arrest?
Let's see.
So sad. I think the thing that we can't get over, I mean, it's the thing I can't get over either, is just the crying TikToks, the eulogy. And they were real tears. We see real tears, coming. No? Not real tears?
I think there was the interview with Dennis, the investigator, or maybe she's not an investigator, but she was the one that did the press conference, and she was in this interview day before yesterday, whenever it was, and she said that it was a red flag to her, the eulogy, but that she wasn't there, so she didn't know if she was really crying or not. She didn't see it.
Okay.
But I did. I was front row at this funeral.
Sorry if you can hear my
where I watched her do this with my own two eyes, and not a single tear was shed. And this isn't something that I thought about afterwards. This isn't something that I've gone back to the video and looked for. I was thinking it at the time. I was thinking, what is this voice that she is doing that sounds like crying, but a tear is never shed? And you can see on the video, she doesn't wipe a tear. She does not have a tissue. She does not shed a tear. Her eyes are not red. It's not speculation
I know.
that she was not crying. She absolutely was not crying.
It's not speculation. It's a scientific fact. She was not crying. Yeah, it's... I'm sure I'm going to get copyright struck for this, but I don't want to play the whole thing anyway. Go check out Hidden True Crime. Why don't you? But yeah, it's infuriating. It's just infuriating. I just wanted to share those couple things with you. And then, so that is all I have for tonight. Thank you to my viewers, my little friends that I have, my internet friends, for swinging by. I appreciate you. I think this case just needs a little attention to it, and we'll give it a little attention. If I don't mind if I do. So thanks for coming by, and I will see you guys around whenever I get time again to hop on here. We'll talk about it some more.